Well, this morning we are at the JFK Museum, and Stacy, you are joining me this morning. This is one of your favorite places in the museum.
It is. We call it the Oval Office, and the desk that you see is actually a replica because President Obama is using the same desk that President Kennedy used. But all of the other things that you see here were actually in the Oval Office.
Well, let's actually step in for just a moment, because what I think is so neat, and maybe this is just because this is the first time I'm seeing that particular chair, but when people come in, do you find that they're excited that, wow, the president actually sat on that chair, he actually used that phone?
I do think that when people see the actual things that President Kennedy used and touched and had with him, and the things that were important to him, I think it is powerful, and they do definitely make a connection with him.
Mm-hmm. You know, not only do they make a connection with the president and some of his artifacts, but of course, what trip to the museum would be complete without looking at some of Jacqueline Kennedy's outfits? And I know that one of the things that we're seeing here, first of all, very tiny waist on that woman, am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
And as we round the corner here, I know that you have on display various gowns that she wore through the course of the presidency and beyond.
That's right. Actually, one of the most popular parts of our collection are the many gowns and some of the outfits that she wore to official functions as First Lady. And this particular one she wore to the Buckingham Palace for dinner in 1961.
It's funny because some of the ladies and I were standing here and we were remarking how this really is so timeless. It's just as everyone says.
It's true. I mean, we do rotate the dresses so that people can see a selection of them, and also for preservation reasons. And people always marvel at how they still are in style. Mm-hmm. They're just classic.
You know, speaking of things that people are marveling at, as you go down this corridor here, the one that makes it look and feel as though you're actually at the White House, there are a number of state artifacts that you come across. One, and it's so appropriate because of President's Week, is this replica of George Washington's sword. Tell me a little bit about this.
Well, a lot of the things that people will see here are things that were presented as state gifts to the president, but this is something that President Kennedy would have given to visiting heads of state. So he had this replica of George Washington's sword made, and he had several of them made and gave them away, but this particular one he wanted to keep for his presidential library, and so we show it here.
Very interesting, and I'm sure the ladies appreciate this, because just across the hallway here, there is, I didn't even know what this is. It's a gorgeous box, but why don't you come right over here and tell me a little bit about what we're seeing here?
Well, it's just spectacular, as you can see. It's actually a purse, and it's made of gold and diamonds and emeralds, and that too is a state gift to Mrs. Kennedy.
It really is beautiful. Do you find that people are taken away by all of the artifacts that they find here and kind of feel like they're stepping back in time?
Well, I think the idea of being here in the White House corridor, it's not just a matter of simply presenting the artifacts, but really helping people understand what it felt like to be in the White House.
And I know you're continuing to do that through an event that's coming up. We're going to tell people about that in just a moment. But in the meantime, thank you so much for giving us this little walking tour. And we'll continue from the JFK Museum as Joy, we're celebrating President's Week on the Fox 25 Morning News.